if you want to write content or video scripts that actually drive the traffic and the attention you generated and turn it into book calls or sales, then I'm going to share a simple framework with you that allowed me to generate up to $15,000 off of videos with just 150 views. So that's quite a return right there. And you can apply this framework for written content for social media, for ads, right, that are value-tainment based, as well as video scripts. So let's dive straight in, shall we? So I'm gonna try and do this one live here, and we're gonna work through this framework, and I'm gonna share with you how you can get access to this towards the end of the video. And not just that, but then also pair this up with AI and some magic prompts to pretty much write the entire script for you. But yeah, stay tuned for the end there, and you want to make sure you get this context here clear, because that is step number one. Before we can actually create the content, we need to make sure that we have a key idea. And the idea that I want to talk about in this video that we're scripting here is actually just a question I just got by somebody from our community, all about hiring / finding video editors. Right, if you're not joined our community yet, make sure to do so somewhere linked in or around the video here. And yeah, I want to basically convey the idea of our hiring funnel, right? So that's the big idea, is you need a hiring funnel, right? So what does that mean? So let's dive into this in a little bit more detail, and then using all of this context, we can then craft the actual video's hook, intro or transition if it's needed, and then follow the rest of the framework that we need to. So along with this, we can also put in our supporting assets right here. And I already know that I want to get the ClickUp hiring funnel for this, because we've built out a full-on system for this for the clients that I'm working with, right? Anywhere from smaller freelancers looking to hire their first editor up to larger creative agencies that are looking to really not just get video editors, but all sorts of different roles. And we've really perfected that process along with many of the other systems that we build for our clients. And if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to book a call with me below, and let's explore how we can set up a system like that for you. But let's dive back to the video here. So we've got our key idea. We want to define the current and the desired state, because at the end of the day, nobody does anything, buys anything, consumes anything unless it helps them get away from where they're at right now, away from some form of pain, maybe even slight inconveniences, towards some form of desired state, right? So in our case, we want to jot this down and just identify what that looks like, because good content, just like your service, should be the bridge and actually help them get what they are after. If you're selling video, chances are people don't just want the video to sit on their website. They want to get more traffic and sales, which is why I'm showing you how to actually script your videos in the way that you're going to make sure that happens. But yeah, not just that, but our content should do the same. It should solve a clear problem, get somebody from their current state closer to their desired state. At least the type of format that we're crafting here that really goes into the deeper rooted beliefs, incorrect behaviors, the problems that they're experiencing, along with the symptoms, to not just get them to watch the content, but actually get a deep emotional response and get them to take action on something. So enough of that, let's identify this. So current situation. So this guy or girl probably has a full pipeline of projects, right? Can't take on more projects. They probably don't know where to start. Old school hiring methods that don't get the desired result. And speaking of the desired result, they want to find somebody qualified, talented, for a good salary without spending hours and days finding, recruiting, or talking to candidates. So ideal situation would be to just put up a post somewhere, get hundreds of applicants, pre-filter through all of the people automatically, which is what we're going to be talking about. Why are they not getting from their current to their desired state? There's probably some form of incorrect behavior that they're doing, right? So they are doing old school methods, manually responding to applicants, manually screening applicants, no clear pre-qualification, so no clear and manual pre-qualification, because this stuff you can automate. And yeah, that's some of the incorrect behaviors that they're doing, and because of that they've got these problems. Don't have enough time to find someone, wasting time with low quality candidates, needing weeks to find, hire and train someone, overpaying for contractors, lack of candidate volume, lower quality, lower work output / quality. Then every problem leads to other problems and problems of the problem, right? And that's why we're dissecting this. And now we're going to dive even further and bring this into the actual symptoms and pains, because this is what shows up in their day-to-day life that they can relate to, that we can speak back to in the video, right? Are you feeling burned out, right? Feeling burned out, overwhelm and anxiety, right? And I want to think about, so with these problems, how would this show up in their day-to-day life, right? So they don't have enough time to find someone, so they're forced to say no to potential clients, having to pick up slack yourself, right? And this comes from experience, just from another client of mine with an agency. Whenever the editor doesn't do his job, then he's got to step in and do it. So that's why we're currently in the process of streamlining those systems some more. But yeah, that's the foundations laid out right there. So at this point, actually, there's one more thing that we can really dive into. This is something that you don't need to, but if you really want to make sure that your content is not just generically providing value, but it actually makes sure it really resonates and hits deeply, and getting somebody through those stages of buyer awareness, where again, obviously if they're consuming content, they're problem aware, right? So that's why they're consuming the content, to solve the problem in the first place, right? But we want to get them through that all the way to product awareness and most aware, where they know what your solution is and your offer and how it can help them bridge the gap even further beyond this small little problem that we're solving in this content piece, right? So that's where you can dive even further and ask yourself, okay, first of all, right, what must they feel to be motivated to change their behavior, right? There's got to be some form of feeling, because if you just see the logic, if it was just for information, everybody would be making millions. The information is out there, right? If you want to make 10K per month with your creative business or production company, then the information is out there, right? Like, just check out some of my content. Chances are, right, there's something missing, which is leading to going all in and committing and deciding to take action, right? Then maybe you take action every now and then, but then you start slipping again. That's a whole different topic for another video, right? But we want to make sure that we really hit this deep here. So what must they feel to be motivated to change their behavior? So I already mentioned some of these right here. Feeling that they need someone to help with editing, or they will go broke or crazy, right? That's something you could write down, right? The better you know your target persona, the easier this is to write. And then, hey, this is where at the end I'll show you how you can then use AI to help with a lot of this here, using some special prompt magic. But yeah, that is one of the things I could write on the other ones as well. But this stuff is even more important, right? So what beliefs must be present or altered to accept a new way of doing things, right? So especially with this, again, it's always powerful in marketing when you have the old way versus the new way. And then same with this, I've got this big idea of, hey, you want to create a hiring funnel and not just put some posts up on social media or some hiring platforms and then manually dealing with all of that. No, you want to funnel all of them into a system that you control, that automatically pre-qualifies, filters, screens, and books people into your calendar. That's the big idea that I want to leave people with here, right? So what limiting beliefs must be present or altered to accept a new way of doing things? Old school methods don't cut it, right? Too much time energy. And you can then go back to the problems, check out what you wrote down here. So they, again, I talked to that one, right? So they definitely need to believe that I can't and won't do this alone. And they must believe that anyone, especially myself, can find and hire someone. That belief definitely must be present, and it's fucking easy if you follow the process. Yeah, and then last but not least, what beliefs must be present? Also believe your solution is the best solution. This is more so if you're trying to sell something. So if I was gonna funnel this at the end of the video, the call to action would be to buy like this hiring funnel or something, then yeah, I would definitely want to fill this out. So at this point, they're solution aware. They know about the solution. They know that they need a hiring funnel or system, but why the hell would I use your thing and not what this other thing I found or that I saw? So at this point, you want to really narrow in, okay, what do they need to believe that your solution is the best solution? So that's where they're going to be thinking like, okay, nobody has crazy AI automations like this dude, and this is cheaper, better, and faster than the other options, and can attack the other solutions out there. And by the way, if you have not checked out my video on the 5 stages of bio-awareness, which this is building on top of, then make sure you check out that video right there. But yeah, that kind of is the foundations in place, right? And when you filled all of this out here, let me just clean this here, then obviously it's going to be much easier to craft the rest of the content and make sure that you sprinkle in some of that special sauce everywhere between the lines, because here's the framework that you want to follow. So first up, you want to have a strong hook. And I've actually recently created a whole video on how to do just that, how to craft hooks and how to test out different hooks and frameworks to really make sure that you grab that viewer's attention, right? And then this is where you can then use a bunch of this knowledge to feed that in. Like at this point, like that's the beauty about copywriting as a whole. It's literally like science. You can pick and choose these different components, right? Obviously, like how to get benefit without pain, right? That's where you can literally plug and play this, right? Hey, are you current situation and looking to desired situation? Chances are you're facing problem 1, problem 2, because you're doing incorrect behavior 1 and incorrect behavior 2, right? Ultimately leading you to symptom 1, symptom 2. Like you could like plug and play it like that. Like quick example, are you looking to attract A-tier talent within days versus weeks, all with a single click of a button? Sounds too good to be true, but hey, I know how it is. If you currently can't take on any more projects, you simply don't know where to start when it comes to hiring people. You've tried those old school methods, but it just takes you hours and hours of your day responding to those Facebook job requests or LinkedIn or Upwork or Fiverr or God knows where you're manually posting your job posting, manually checking through applicants, manually inviting them to the call. Chances are all of that could be automated, and you could set up a system that I'm going to show you in this video that's going to help you stop that overwhelm, anxiety, constant burnout where you're forced to jump in and take on slack of where your editor fell off. I'm going to show you how to solve all of that and blah, 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 blah. You get the point. I probably want to script this out some more, practice it some more. But yeah, that's the idea, right? So you want to craft a good hook. Again, check out that hook video I've done there. Some form of intro or transition, right? Where as I've been talking here, that was part of the transition as well, right? The hook is really just the first 5 to 10 seconds, maybe 20 on YouTube, right? And then if you anything beyond that, you want to again open up some loops, right? Which I've done there, right? Hey, make sure to stick to the end of the video, right? Like this one where I'm going to show you how you can use AI to fill all of this out and actually provide some visual proof as well, right? Show them the hiring funnel, show them the applicants coming in, for example. So that's obvious. We don't really need to go too much into detail on that. And then when it comes to the actual scripting of the content itself, that's the beautiful part. If you're doing value-based content where you're actually trying to help your target persona, your viewer, to actually get from point A to point B, then all you got to do is map out the steps that they need to take on things that they need to know to get from A to B. So at this point, again, I always use this framework, and you can build on top of this using some other frameworks. And basically provide them with the big key steps that they need to do, and then each of those 3 steps ideally has 3 other steps to do that. So let me just brainstorm this here. So key 1 is to create an irresistible job posting, and then step 1 of doing that is to define role and responsibilities. Step 2 is to outline pay and incentives, and then step 3 would be to use AI prompts to write the job post. So that's going to be my open loop and lead magnet for this video here. And then that will be step 1 with step 1, 2, 3, right? This should be 1, 2, okay, just all the numbers. Okay, you get the point. So that's step 1. We create the irresistible job posting. Step 2 is we want to set up the hiring funnel. And then for that, we want to set up a hiring form, survey. We want to create job test, and then we want to set up hiring CRM, the database, the ClickUp system where all of the applicants are going to funnel in, and basically all the questions are going to be there pre-sorted, and then we can use automations to weed out people with some trick questions, as well as just some basic logic to basically only look at the top 5% of the applicants. Push a button, they're going to get an invite to the job test, where then we just take a look at the best people that completed that job test, and then press another button and finally invite them to a call. So that's 2 manual steps or clicks. I guess I was lying in the hook there that I sampled, but yeah, that's the next step here. So we want to set up the hiring CRM and email templates and automations, right? That's all one step, right? So let me just put that here because that all lives inside the system. So that is step 1, 2, and 3 of our key number 2. And then key number 3, same thing. I'm going to leave that open, so you go ahead and watch that video once it's live, and you get the idea, right? So from that here on out, I could expand on each of these points. Obviously, I could write this in an actual Word document now, if you are that type of guy who wants to like have a word by word script. But for me personally, I just need some bullet points, and then I can go through all of the content. So that's the idea, right? And then at this point, we've got the main juice of the video scripted out, and similar to our hook framework or the general content, right? I got this from Hormozi's $100 million leads recently, which similar to the IDA framework, right? Where we hook people in and then we want to reward them with our call to action or the value here. You can do all of this for each of the steps here, right? So you want to hook them in from each key to the next and reward each of those hooks, right? So you can install hooks for each of these keys here to get them to keep watching. You can use those open loops there, or basically once they've solved this problem, going back to the journey here, they've gotten halfway there and solved for the first problem. Now they've got a banger job posting, but they don't know what to do with it, right? So now you can have another hook that leads into the next part. Quick example might be, all right, so now that we get the job post ready, I'll show you how to set up a system that allows you to never ever have to reach out to a single candidate manually again, and automatically pre-qualify and filter all of them, and have you only speak to the top 5% of the candidates coming in. So that could be an example for a sub hook for the second key, right? So this way I can basically get them to keep watching the rest of the video, hook them in for that next key, and then I reward them by giving them the value, showing them how they can do it, and then I hook them in for the next key, and that way you can keep them watching and consuming the content. And then at the end of it, last but not least, you always want to direct the traffic somewhere, especially once you've done all of this legwork here, and you want to be really clear on, okay, what is it that you want them to do? Why do you want them to do this, and how can they do it or get it? The what in this case would be like, hey, get access to this complete hiring funnel template inside of our community, so you can stop manually screening your applicants and insert other benefits that we identified earlier. So that could be an example for that. So that's pretty much the entire video scripted out. And as promised, if you want to use AI to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you here, and let's be real, like some target audiences is just hard to get your mind into, right? If you're not the target persona yourself, or you're working with these people really closely and it's your content you're creating here but for a client. And AI can be absolutely huge for that. So if that's what you're interested in, definitely make sure you join our community first of all, right? Because we're all about AI and content creation. And then just send me a quick DM on my Instagram at @pushrec saying AI video script, and I'll shoot you the magic prompt. And until then, make sure you check out that video to make sure that people even get into the script of your content, and I'll see you there.